research and about the green man dream that I had, and some people mentioned like that I should look at Cernunnos here. So that's what I've been doing. I just looked at a few things here. There's a lot here. So here, where did it show it? Okay, we'll just go to the Wikipedia too. Okay. I did not read the Wikipedia. I felt like I kind of wanted to look closer into this or look elsewhere than Wikipedia. I'm good at finding things, so I just follow my instincts there. So sometimes I don't know if I've found something or not. But I just will have a feeling that I just want to put that out there, that I found it interesting. These things can sometimes have a way of coming back to you later. So anyway, the theonym, now I never heard that word before. Cernunnos appears on the Pillar of the Boatmen, a Gallo-Roman monument dating to the early 1st century CE. CE. Is that AD now, or? Oh, that's the current era thing. Oh, so weird. All these, Anyway, we'll just move on. To label a god depicted with stag's antlers in their early stage of annual growth. Both antlers have torques hanging from them. I don't know. I remember this picture from years ago. I always thought I remember them saying it was torques, but I always thought they were like snakes. And to me, this was like a Medusa figure. Now, they're not saying it right out, and I did see this on other sites. This is the only place, and I remember reading this too from years ago. That was the only place that the name Cernunnos appeared in the archaeological record on Sagittarius. But it does still say that on these other websites, so I'm assuming that's the same. Now, I'm really not terribly interested in this Wikipedia page, although I will go back and read it. Now, how is there all of this stuff now? Like 50 years after I saw this information, or not after I saw it, but after I believe that it was found. I don't know here. We'll go forward. We'll see when this was found here, this pillar of the boatmen. Let's check this out anyway, because a square, here it is. Here's the pillar. Okay. Square section stone bas relief with depictions of several deities, both Gaulish and Roman, dated to the first quarter of the 1st century AD. It originally stood in the temple in the Gallo-Roman, I don't know how to say that, Civitas of Lutetia, modern Paris, France, and is one of the earliest pieces of representational Gaulish art to carry a written inscription. Oh. So this Cernunnos inscription is one of the first of these pieces to carry a written, Cernunnos being one of the first written inscriptions. That's interesting. That's interesting. For the Gauls. It wouldn't be for the whole world people. I just want to know when this was found. When did they dig it up? When did they dig it up? Okay, here's more. The top tier, of which only the top half remains, here he is, depicts Cernunnos, Smirtrios, and Castor and Pollux. Cernunnos has stag's antlers from which hang 2 torques. From the mount of the body in the top half, Cernunnos is assumed to have been depicted in a cross-legged, seated position, as is typical of other Cernunnos depictions. Well, okay. Then this is typical of other Cernunnos depictions, but I guess we're gonna have to, let's see if that's on here. No, and that's it. That is really interesting and unusual article there. So we're gonna, I don't know, 1952, I guess, is when it was first documented or written about. Yeah, here, yeah, you see, like, it's like they carved in the, because these were made in 2 different pieces and inset, you know, then they carved in the, later on, carved in the lower part. So, you know, is he seated? You know, he could have a fish tail or something. You don't know. You don't know. Anyway, I guess I'm just going to say 1952 on that. So, you know, now I guess I'll have to show you. If it says, you know, maybe. Okay, the name occurs only on the Pillar of the Boatmen. So the other Wikipedia that we just saw, that was a little bit misleading because it said there were other depictions of him. But you don't know, right? Like I said, there always, it seems like for a long time, since I started reading on this type of thing, there's always been a tendency to try to say, this guy is the same as this guy, right? Even though this doesn't have a name on it, right? Okay, we know that's Cernunnos, so his name's on there. Right? Like when you're 10, like that's my name's on it. That's me, that's my picture, my name's on it. It's ridiculous to try to say, like I said, to try to funnel all of these beings and entities into one pantheon, and that's what's been attempted for a very long time. So let's look at this first, and I'll just I'll put the links up. You know, very good video, very well researched. But I just want to make a few comments on this because well, we'll just start it and I'll comment as we go here.
This video is brought to you by the generous donations from viewers like you. Cernunnos is the conventional name given to Celtic studies to depictions of the untamed horn god of the animals, or the horned one of Celtic polytheism.
Okay, so just right there, now I always thought to say Cernunnos, and I had even seen in years back, you know, it's really blurry in my mind, but something about a Sir, S-I-R, and Nunnos, N-U-N-N-O-S. And then I saw today, and this is an aside, and it's just a weird synchronicity, the memo, the Nunes memo, you know, the Nunes, it's just, I don't know. I don't know. My mind works very strange ways. Anyway.
He is understood as a complex and powerful god, though he may not have been the head of the Celtic pantheon. He is seen as the leaf-covered green man, guardian of the green world, but he is much older.
Okay, so she's kind of a mixed message there. She says he's seen as the green man, but he's much older. So, what, I mean, is he the same or not? I'll get back to that. As you know, I had a dream about the green man. I believe that it was the green man from the research that I've looked at. So, anyway, I'll get back to that. Moving on.
Since his earliest origins as Lord of the Hunt, he has been associated with male animals, particularly the stag and rut, life, abundance, good fortune, wealth, vegetation, and virile fertility. But since the object of the hunt is the death of the prey, and the hunter is sometimes even killed in this life-sustaining pursuit, Cernunnos is recognized throughout the Celtic lands and folklore as both the god of death and guardian of the portal leading to the otherworld or underworld. He has been associated with many deities throughout the world. Hirne, the hunt.
Now here they're going to do the thing again that annoys me. And I'm not saying they're wrong, but I'm just saying, to me, it seems less likely. I've been talking about archetype, and what I think is happening here is there's been an attempt to take the archetype associated with these beings and say that all the beings that have that archetype are the same person. So, for example, and even the mandala is an archetype. The Senex, like I've been talking about, an archetype. The Mandela affected people are an archetype. So that doesn't mean we're all the same person, right? It means, standing for, representing, and being symbolic of the same things. So, and I think we're starting to get a feel for that, guys. And, I just think that it's a mistake to go saying that all these different beings are the same ones. They're trying to funnel archetype. So I'm just going to coin that phrase right now. They're trying to funnel archetype. Anyway, let's just move on a little bit.
Hunter, wood god of Britain. Pan, Greek god of the woodlands. Janus, the Roman god.
So the Saturn god, and Pan, the god of basically drunkenness and pedophilia and perversions. And of course, Janus, the two-faced god associated with Saturn. Not as familiar with this, Janus. This is tough for me because the mythology is different, and even though I'm well read on world mythology, that type of thing, I don't have that great of a memory, so it's hard for me to point out, all of the Mandela effects. A lot of times, and a lot of times I should point this out, but it's like I don't remember ever coming across this stuff. Like, if I had Googled Cernunnos 10 years ago, my guess is that all I would have found would be that one little reference and that one little relief of the dude that had what I thought were snakes coming out of his head. Looks like snakes to me. Doesn't look like horns to me at all. So, and I just was really surprised at coming up with all of those search results, and it's pretty easy to find videos. So that may be a Mandela effect, or it may be just an effect of somehow the study of it has just progressed a lot faster than I realized was happening. but I think it's a Mandela effect given the volume of information, you know. So anyway, let's go on.
God of good things, Nimrod and Tamzu, father and son, lover and consorts to Ishtar and Inanna, Osiris, Egyptian god of the underworld, Geb, Egyptian lord of the earth, and Dionysus, Greek god of vegetation and wine. Cernunnos was worshipped all over Gaul, and his cult spread to Britain as well. Depictions of the god are found in...
I mean, are you sure he was worshipped all over Gaul if his name only appears once on one pillar?
many parts of the British Isles and Western Europe. He is often portrayed with a beard and wild, shaggy hair. He is the lord of the forest. He is depicted with the antlers of a stag, sometimes carries a purse filled with coin. He was such an important deity to the pagan Celts that his image and prowess became a major target for the early Christian church. Because of his horns and the occasional depiction of a large erect phallus, Cernunnos has often been misinterpreted by fundamentalists as a symbol of Satan. In his image, that is believed to have been adopted for their mythos of the devil, Diophilos.
Okay, so she just proceeded to tell us that he guarded the underworld. And now she's, he can't possibly be the devil. There's so much confusion. I just struggle. So there he's got his snake, horned snake, the moon, stag. He's got his, I've seen that before. I can't remember what that is. Anyway, got your bull, your trees. It's like your two pillars here. I don't know, this may be a modern. It's so hard to tell on this earth if something's modern or if something's old to my eyes.
Or the false god. Certainly at times the Christian church has pointed to the pagan following of Cernunnos as devil worship. This is in part due to the 19th century paintings of Satan, which included large ram-like horns, much like those of Cernunnos. His statue as the god of hell would coincide with the view of the pagan Celts as the guardian of the underworld. Nothing is known about the god from literary sources, and details about his name, his cult, or his significance in Celtic religion are unknown.
Nothing's known.
The name Cernunnos is known only through the damaged carvings of the pillar of the boatman, a stone relief carving from the Gale.
Okay, so it didn't say that on the Wikipedia page that when I scanned it. It doesn't say this on this other thing. I believe the boatmen that they're referring to are the boatmen that would carry souls over the river Styx to the underworld. Like you had to wait on the shore, and you had to wait for one of the boatmen to come and get you and take you basically to Hades.
Gallo-Roman period, early 1st century CE, found in the collection of the Cluny Museum in Paris. In these carvings, the incomplete, though clearly legible inscription, Cernunno, in Roman letters above the face of a god with antlers, upon which hangs a torque.
This is another question that I have, because the inscription says Cernunno. Now I remember it was up here. It was not carved like this. It's scratched in, says Cernunno with no C, and then there was assumed that it was kind of flaked off. There was assumed that there was a C there. Cernunno. Huh. This is very obscured reference.
A collar-shaped necklace of divine authority. But it would be a mistake to identify all horned gods as Cernunnos, or even all stagged antlered ones. One of the earliest representations of a horned god in a purely Celtic context according to Morning Glory Zen in 1991, is a rock carving from Val Camonica in northern Italy.
Native American.
The god is portrayed standing upright, wearing a long garment and carrying a torch. As is common, he is accompanied by a horned serpent and a male worshiper. These symbols foreshadow a combination of identifying features, the antlers, torque, horned serpent, and other animals, recognizable in later period artwork. Subsequently, these images often show the horned god seating in a half-lotus position, familiar to yogis. The history of the Horned One paintings discovered in the Caverne des Trois Frères at Arges, France, provides evidence of the first views of the Horned One, depicted as a stag standing upright on hind legs with an...
Okay, so I just wanted to show you that first half of it. I'll put the link up. You know, I feel like this person did a lot of research. And they're from Sagittarius, and I'm not following where they're getting all of these things. You know, of course, then there's a lot of there's propaganda and saying, you know, some sort of special effort to say that's not Satan. I guess I need to ask around here on this planet and see if anybody has heard of this. This is all very odd to me. Anyway, moving on, I read a few articles. This one was most interesting and unusual, and let's see, I believe that's all this. Yeah, I don't think there are any sources whatsoever that I could see. Let's see. Those are probably Wikipedia pages. Let's just check. Okay, yeah, so they're, yeah, just linking to themselves. So, but what's interesting, it mentions archons. So, you know, without sources, this guy's probably just speaking out of his ass. So, let's read. All right. Cernunnos is an archon who aids Dr. John Dee as a favor to his master. So John Dee was a Satanist, as far as I know, from what I can remember. I may have to do a whole other thing and look him up, but I have so many different things I want to look at, so we'll just do what I can. Anyway, he was worshipped as a nature god by the Celtic people of Ireland. Cernunnos was neither great elder, nor next generation, but an archon. The archons were a primordial race of beings that ruled the planet long before the elders took over. It was said that Cernunnos and the archons roamed the earth when Yggdrasil was still a seed and Nidhogg had not even hatched yet. Sometime during all of this, Cernunnos wielded the legendary sword of fire, Clarent, and used it to win many a battle. After the beginning of Danu Talis, Cernunnos, like all the other archons, went into hiding into several different shadow realms. Right? Yeah, they are. Yeah, that's true. So when I saw this, that's when I decided I'm just going to read on. You know, because I know that's true. And shadow realms is an interesting term, but other dimension, different frequency, or even maybe that's the pit. Alright, into different shadow realms had not been heard from for tens of thousands of years. See, so maybe the shadow realms are the pit. At some point, he became indebted to the elders. The sorceress. Okay, so this video, I didn't go this far, but they talk about, she talked about possible worship of Cernunnos. She didn't say the fall equinox, but what would be the fall equinox, or otherwise known as Beltane? No, Samhain. And then the spring equinox would be Beltane, associating Cernunnos with the fall equinox and a goddess with the spring equinox. So I don't know who the goddess would be, but what she's really talking about there, and she may not even know it, you know, people don't know they're talking about this thing. Those would be dates of rituals, ritual dates, and the goddess and Cernunnos, you know, possibly being the archons that they are sacrificing to at those times. So, purely conjecture on my part, of course, you know. Um, Anybody, you know, have any different ideas, you know, feel free to let me know. We'll move on. All right, so then it goes on to talk about this battle that went on where Cernunnos and John Dee had a battle that he killed King Arthur and Mordred, right? Cernunnos did, and that also there was this battle later on between and this person named Josh. I don't know. So okay. Anyway, this is fairly interesting and exciting reading. Neat story. It ends with, well, I won't tell you the ending. I won't tell you the ending, but it's a battle against an archon, supposedly by these figures in history. So I'm not going to give that a lot of credence. I'm just going to move down to the appearance section. Cernunnos' appearance has been said by many characters to be both beautiful and terrible all at once by several characters in the series. So this is some sort of fandom thing. So odd. Anyway, is this a show? I don't understand what this is. Is this a show? Interesting. Yeah, it's there's no sources. He stands close to 8 feet tall with massively bulked out arms and legs. His legs end in goat-like hooves. He usually is wrapped in mismatched hides of animals that have long been extinct, so it's difficult to tell where the animal skins ended and where the archon's hairy flesh began. Okay, so they're hairy. Okay, he carries around a dinosaur jawbone. He has a face that's smooth and unlined as if carved from stone, not flesh. So, just to sum up, regarding my Green Man dream, this I don't recognize this being. I don't recognize this being the the being that I saw was a like a tree more than an animal, if that makes any sense. And he had to do with weather, with storms and rain and tornadoes and that type of thing. So, and I know that because I kind of saw in my mind this weather and these storms. So yeah, that's really interesting. Um, yeah, I don't think that it was the same being. His face wasn't smooth. It was bark. It was like bark that could move. If that even makes any sense either. So anyway, that's all I got for you guys. It's kind of gone on a little bit longer. Um, but I think I'll continue to look into this. This name keeps popping up. Um, like this here, that I don't know if this is a TV show or what this is, you know. But yeah, it's probably an archon. It's probably an archon, and that green man that I saw as well, he's probably also an archon. And I'll continue to say it. There probably are a lot of archons. There are probably a lot. I have that I've talked about NPCs and the possibility of people just being ready to be possessed. You know, just programmed and ready and completely oblivious to what could happen, with no spirituality and no sense of self. And I think there are going to be more, and I do think that there'll come a time when we'll all be able to see them. So anyway, I love you guys. God bless you. Don't be afraid. We're doing what God wants us to do, and just keep positive in yourself and believe in Him, and pray to Jesus and do your best. Love you guys.
I just took a ride on a silver machine, and I'm still feeling mean. Well, do you want to ride and see yourself going by?